Hello there. So I just wanted to make a very, hopefully, brief video about some of the stuff I've been experiencing. Symbolism, especially in the nature realm. So, well, I guess something that's been going on for numerous months at this point is that I will look at the clock exactly on the hour, whether it's 12 o'clock, 6 o'clock, 2, 3, 4. Whenever I just happen to glance at the time, it's like exactly on the hour. So that's been just like a pattern I've been aware of recently. And yeah, more so in the past week when I was at my cabin specifically, I saw on 3 different occasions black squirrels. Altogether I saw 4 because in one occasion there was 2. And I pretty much never see black squirrels, so it was really interesting. One was when I was at the library. This black squirrel was right outside the window. It came by twice. And then when I was driving back from the library in the forest area, I glanced over and I saw a black squirrel. And then when I was at my cabin, there was 2 black squirrels playing together outside. I was just like quite in amazement. So that to me is like an animal symbolism. And then also at the cabin, I was just I was sitting next to the window, and then in flies a hummingbird, and it just hovered right by the window, right where I was sitting, and we both looked at each other, and then it flew away. And then again today, when I was just randomly in the kitchen, I glanced outside and there's a hummingbird. We don't even have a hummingbird feeder or anything like that around here at the house. But yeah, it came right by the kitchen window. We both looked at each other. It was looking at me, and then it fluttered off, and I was like, oh my gosh. And then yeah, I've been a lot more in contact, I guess, with, well, just praying more, like being more open to the spiritual realm and reading all these different books about fairies. Like I feel very connected to the fairies. That's a whole nother topic. Anyway, so yeah, I took 2 different oracle cards today of the fairy oracle cards that I have that I absolutely love. And both of the cards really urged me to go outside in nature, and I really felt urged to go like immediately, go for a walk. So that's what I was just doing, even though it's quite gray outside, it's misty, and it's very like, you know, not the most preferred weather, you know, of most people anyways. But either way, I went for a lovely walk, and on the walk, I was like, oh, there's this pretty big sticker that was just like randomly on the ground. And so I looked over at it, peeked at it, and it was a drawing of a husky dog. And just earlier today, a person that I quite admire, an artist, had posted a little post announcing that they just got a husky dog. And I thought, oh wow, that's like so beautiful. I just felt really happy to see that earlier today. And then yeah, just now I just saw that random husky sticker, and then on the bottom of it, it had a quote that said, go your own way, go your own path. And I was like, oh, okay, that's really cool. Especially because it was just, what, 2 days ago or something that I officially booked that ticket to Europe for a solo Europe trip, which has been pretty much my dream for quite a while. And then I was walking back on the path back here, and then I, out of nowhere, just noticed an egg on the ground. And I just felt compelled to grab it because there's no trees around, so clearly the egg had fallen or something. And I actually am holding it here. I've been holding it. Maybe that's gross. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't offend people or something. There was no nest around. Like, it was clear that it had been abandoned. And also, as I said, it's quite a cold day out, actually. It's like rainy and cold, and it's been cold the past couple days. So it's likely not going to survive because apparently you have to have constant warmth. But ever since I found it, I've just been holding it in here. And I also feel like that was just a really big symbolism as well, in my opinion. And that's okay if no one, you know, agrees with this. It's just my own experience. And I feel such a love. Like, literally I started to tear up just like at the realization that this could be a little baby creature. Like, I'm just holding this, like, this is something about a little egg. It's just really special. So yeah, I'll deal with it. You know, I know it's probably not a good idea to just keep it in my hand for the rest of my life, but for now I'm just kind of holding it. Yeah. Anyway, so yeah, that was quite special as well. And then other such things, just like, I mean, I've had so many experiences like this in my life, especially ever since I've been going down the path of spirituality or just different topics like that. I've just had these types of experiences. But yeah, I mean, and again, people could definitely write them all off as just whatever, like it's not a big deal, it's not symbolic, like it just is what it is. But for me anyways, it does feel symbolic. And another example is, oh yeah, so well, first off, well, I don't know, it's kind of a lot to say, but okay, like I had that goal. I really wanted to do the fairy trail in Germany. Like I was like, okay, that's what I feel called to do. I want to like have a pilgrimage, like go around and see the amazing architecture in Germany. Like I just was blown away by this fairy book that I randomly got at the Renaissance Festival, and in it was talking about this fairy trail. Anyway, so that's kind of what sparked like this desire to go to Germany and just like have a solo adventure, etc, etc. Okay, it's pretty much always been my dream to travel around Europe by myself, but I've always thought, oh, I wouldn't be able to do that, like for all these various reasons. Either way, okay, so that's kind of what prompted it, but then la-di-da, okay, and I wasn't really sure how to go about it, and I tried out these different jobs, but some of them just were not good for me, and like, either way, all this to say is I had no idea how I was gonna be able to do such a thing, and then, out of the blue, okay, I don't think I even told my dad that I was wanting to do this. I don't know, I don't think I mentioned it to him, but out of the blue, he randomly was just like, hey Mary, I have this travel voucher that I'm not going to use, so if you want to use the rest of it, feel free. It expires really soon though. And I was like what? I would have never guessed. Like what? A travel voucher? And it's expiring really soon and like I get to use it? Anyway, so like that was kind of like my ticket, it felt like, and I would have never guessed that that would have been an option. So that was really, really cool. To me, that's very serendipitous. Like the universe just found a way, you know. It's like I read these books about like, you know, law of attraction or just different stuff like that, and it will literally mention that, like it'll say, you know, that a lot of these things will be presented to you in ways that you would never even guess, in the most surprising ways, you know, like somehow the universe like orchestrates it, you know, matches things up, and somehow it magnetizes towards you, and like you attract these things. And again, you don't have to agree with this if anyone's watching this that's like, you know, maybe not into this type of stuff. But since I am into this type of stuff, to me it really is a beautiful, cool process. So yeah, that was just really awesome. I would have never guessed that I would have been just given a travel voucher, you know. So I feel extremely, extremely grateful for that. And then I was really in the cahoots of trying to decide which path to go down. So that's a whole nother topic, but pretty much I was like really trying to decide, like, should I go in July by myself, like in the heart of summer, the energy is buzzing, but also like I have my job and I don't want to disrupt that and suddenly just take off, you know, time and like make my boss feel stressed. You know, I had all these varying thoughts, and like, or I'm like, wait, that's too soon. I'm not gonna have time to like get fit. I'm not gonna have time to like have enough money. Like I had all these different worries, but like I knew that ultimately that was really what I would want to do, is like go there in the summer. But anyways, I had all these doubts and stuff. So pretty much what I was deciding was go in July, or go in September and have like a more safe route, like be with my mom, meet up with my brother, like have kind of like a safer route in that sense. Anyways, there's much more to it, okay? There's more I can explain, which I will at some point, but this video is more just about these specific kind of serendipitous kind of things. So anyways, I was just kind of like in that zone of trying to question, like, should I go then? Should I go there? Like, just kind of in a kerfuffle of like September or July, like which one? And I was really, you know, open to guidance and like asking for guidance from the spirit realm. Anyways, so right as the day had came where it was going to expire, and this system, like the travel voucher was based in Amsterdam, so like it officially expired at like 5 p.m. my time, which is like midnight Amsterdam time if I'm remembering correctly. So anyways, it was like down to the wire, okay? I only had like 2 hours to decide, and I still did not know which route to go. And as I said, I was like really open to guidance from the universe, spiritual realm and stuff. Then I like randomly, even though I told myself that I wasn't going to get a coffee drink, because I've been trying to just only have coffee at home, not buy it. Anyways, but I was like, you know what, I'm gonna go just treat myself to a coffee drink. I felt called to do it, and I did not feel at all guilty for doing it. So then I walked into the shop, and I walked in at a very random time too. It was like a very specific, okay, anyways, because I'd been sitting in my car for a while, and then I decided to go in. Okay, anyways, as I'm walking in, guess what song is on? First off, my favorite musician, I think, at least one of my absolute favorite musicians, Hosier, was playing on the loudspeaker or whatever in the coffee shop. It was Starbucks, actually. And he was singing this. July, July, July is still calling. It's made real by the things that you do. Anyways, the main lyric is July, July, July. And I was like, oh my gosh, there's just signs, you know? And of course, again, I understand all the different perspectives and everyone can have different opinions and different, you know, backlash of, oh, well, this, you know. I get all that, okay? And I'm just gonna drop all those other opinions. It's like I know that people have other viewpoints. That's why a lot of times I don't even want to share my viewpoints, because I know that everyone's gonna have a side viewpoint, and I understand that there is side viewpoints that people have totally different opinions. I'm not trying to get riled up right now or anything, like, it may seem like it, but it's just like, let me just talk, you know. It's like, it can sometimes feel like I can't just speak my perspective just openly, even with knowing that other people have different perspectives or other people have different truths, you know, and even with me knowing that this truth, this perspective of mine is flexible as well, you know. It's just how I see things, but even that, I don't hold it like super begrudgingly, but it's like, can I still just speak upon it, you know? I just want to speak it. Or like my feelings about trees and cutting down trees, I feel very strongly that that's not good. But yet I see everyone's different counterpoints, but I can still have my own thing and I can still share it, and I'm not really looking for counter things because I'm just sharing. Okay, side note. Okay, anyways. So yeah, that song was playing and I was just like, oh my gosh. You know, that's just like, to me, that's just such a cool example of just the universe hearing, and the universe is apparently you know. It's like we're both, you know, we're co-creating together, and it's just really awesome when I open up myself to the serendipity experiences, to the guidance, to the symbolisms and whatnot, and it's just like a really beautiful thing to me. So yeah, that was just a really recent stuff that has happened, and I feel like lots of, I mean, things just happen on the daily, you know, but there's just been lots of really interesting experiences like that in my life where it's just like, in my opinion, like it feels undeniable that these things are a true thing. I mean, one of the biggest things I will just briefly mention, this was years ago at this point, but well, maybe I'll share that for a different time. That is like a bigger, major thing. Oh, I guess I could share it. I just remember I was like in a very depressive state. Like I was actually like not wanting to be around, if you know what I mean. I was just like very, very in a bad place in my life. Anyways, I was gonna say, and then it got worse later on. But either way, this was one of the very worst places of my life I'd been in. And I just remember it got to a point where I was just like, I can't do this anymore. Like, so I remember I was sleeping in a different bed than usual. I wasn't sleeping in my normal bed. So I slept in this other room for some reason. And I remember just like literally just praying, which I don't think I really prayed much at all back then. I just prayed, I was like, please, universe, like, please, I need a big change. I need a big change. Please, please, please. Like, I was desperate, you know? And I fell asleep, and then I woke up, and I looked over at my phone, and I saw I had a message from my oldest brother, which we, especially back then anyways, we never texted, we weren't, like, in contact, you know? All of my siblings all live all over the place, and we're all pretty good in touch nowadays, but especially back then, we just didn't have a group message, you know? We just didn't really contact each other, you know? So, to wake up from a message from my brother was like, first off, just a really surprising thing. So I was like, oh, what's this? My brother ends up sending me this message, and he had no idea. I mean, he didn't even know I was feeling depressed. He had no idea what I was going through. He had no idea about my prayer that I silently spoke out of desperation, you know, just like, I need a big change, you know. Specifically, I know specifically that that was what I was like praying for. Because I remember I felt very trapped at the time. Anyways, my brother randomly messaged me and he was like, hey Mary, there's an opening at the school. He was living abroad. And he's like, blah, blah. He's like, if you're interested in, like, we're hiring for, you know, a female teacher, blah, blah. And in the message, he literally wrote, if you're looking for a big change, and he capitalized the B, capitalized the C, big change. And like, you know, he wrote a whole message about it, but I was just like, there's what? You know, it's just like, I get blown away by these things. Like, it's really cool. Very cool. Anyways, speaking of which, I'm gonna go read some of these spiritual books that I've been more into recently. You know, just like, it's about gratitude and that type of stuff. Yeah, so that's what I'm about to do. And just wanted to share some of those things. Oh yes, another thing too that's been happening recently, and this may not stay, you know, but before I went to my cabin, I was riddled with social anxiety. Like, I am apparently diagnosed with panic disorder, which is in cahoots with social anxiety. Excuse me. So pretty much like it comes out when I'm in social situations, and it can really cramp my whole life. Like, it really, yeah, that's another, I talked about it in a different video, but I don't know where that was. Like, really recently I talked about it. But either way, because it was really heightened. So yeah, before I left for the cabin, it was just like, I could hardly even hold a conversation with someone. I would get so panicked. I couldn't even talk. I couldn't look at them. Like, my whole body was just, oh my gosh, just panic, you know? It's like the most awkward, uncomfortable thing. Although I was pondering that recently when I was in the car, and I was like thinking, oh, like sometimes I think to myself, especially when I have really bad social anxiety, panic disorder, I think I would rather have anything else, like anything other than this. Like, this is such a bad, like, I just would want anything else, any other ailment. But once I actually pondered it, I was like, you know what, I don't think that's true, because I would not want to be like deeply depressed or really any of those things, you know? But anyways, what was I gonna say? Oh yeah, but yeah, so before I left for the cabin, I was like aware of how bad the panic disorder was really coming up in my social interactions. But ever since I've been back from the cabin, there's been no social panic, anxiety, whatever. Like, I've been able to look people in the eye, I've been able to feel so calm within myself, talk freely, which is the biggest miracle. Like, I just so appreciate it. I can literally have a conversation, like, totally fine, just calmly looking at them, listening to them, and me also being able to talk without the panic symptoms arising. It's truly the most amazing gift ever. So that's something else, you know, that's something else that I've been aware of. And yeah, I just want to say I'm very grateful that I did choose the path of July and the path of the unknown, the adventure. And yeah, just felt like sharing that. And I do plan to also go to Europe again with my mom, because this time I'm going to, oops, okay, camera cut me off because it ran out of space, and now there's only 1 minute left, so I'll just briefly finish this. Yeah, I do plan to go travel with my mom in the winter time too, so it's not like I'm just, you know, I'm happy that we'll get to do that. I mean, I'm really grateful for that, and hopefully, yeah, I'll do my photography job so I can save up another bundle of money, because ultimately, if I'm being honest, like, really, this is what I want to spend my money on. Like, I want to go on adventures, I want to go to Europe, I want to explore, feel the mystique, feel the inspiration, and like be immersed in all that, and that is what I want to spend my money on, so that's what I'm reminding myself too, you know. Anyways, this is gonna shut off again, so thank you so much for listening if you felt like it. I just felt like sharing that, and peace out for now. If I upload this first, then just be aware that the videos from the cabin are from before these videos, if that makes sense. Okay, peace out. Bye! Okay, I was just about to put some of this video, like I was about to put the video into the camera, you know, upload it, upload the footage. I took out the SD card or whatever, and I was about to upload it. And then, as I'm sitting out here, I glance up, and again, a hummingbird right outside looking in at me. And I don't know if I mentioned this in the video, but people have told me that hummingbird is my spirit animal. Like, people have told me, did I see it again? So yeah, that's also extra special. I feel like my spirit animal is a kitten, but yeah, I've been told that people think I'm a hummingbird. So anyways, just wanted to say that. Okay, bye.